We got a love that can be caged.
Hurrah! Run with the lion.
Yes, we are celebrating nature, we are celebrating love, and we are celebrating Lithuania's Jury juice, freshly squeezed. Shall we talk about it? Let's do this! DNA makes me roar. Thank you, my heritage. In any case, we have to talk about Lithuania.
We got a love that can be caged. Come on, let your feelings out. Come on, get your freedom now. Run wild, run with the lions. Whoa.
This song has a romantic vibe. I thought the staging in Lithuania was quite beautiful, actually. It reminded me of John Lundvik's staging at Melodifestivalen. Warm lights, black arena, fast cuts, very dramatic, very contemporary, very modern. It looked amazing. He was working every angle of that camera. Musically, it may be a tad forgettable, to be honest. It's very pleasant. It's very nice. My concern is that it's just not high impact enough, and that in the repeat it may be forgotten, but that does not take away from beautiful lighting, beautiful staging, and a great singer.
I mean, I actually entirely disagree. I think it's the other way around is the problem. The staging at the national final, I found there was no narrative. I found it quite random and difficult to engage with, and I think that was all driven by the original cut of the song. You know, it's this random flip between being like a radio-ready hit that made sense and then kind of just weaker bits that didn't really resonate or make an impact. However, the revamp has since made a huge difference to this. I think it will have a lot of potential if they kind of rework the stage and look at it. But I mean, vocally, I think he's very strong. I think it is actually probably one of the stronger radio songs in this year's contest. And I think that will help it, because I think that's what we see increasingly. The trend is towards these songs that have this more contemporary pop sound, perform better with the juries, perform better with televisors. And I mean, don't forget, in Lithuania's semi-final, I think they have the UK is voting in it, who historically that's televo points going their way. And yeah, I really like it. The revamp has really brought this on in spades for me.
Are you wearing a lion?
I might be today, but don't tell Peter.
Very Scar Lion King.
Yeah, I mean, they don't just have the UK, I think they have Ireland as well. I think Norway has quite a high Lithuanian population too, and, you know, they are one of the strongest diaspora. You know, they consistently get those 12 televote points or 10s from those nations, so that's an immediate advantage for him. Do I think he might need it a little bit? Possibly. I think that Juri is he's a very warm performer. You know, he's very likable. We know he has vocal talent. I mean, he was Lolita Zero in a way, like he was the vocal behind that. Yeah, I think that there's a lot about him that's likable. The song I just find a bit too bland. It's very safe, it's very pedestrian, and sometimes that's worked for Lithuania before. You know, Donny Montel, I would say, okay, he had a bit of like a disco or like a bit more of an edge to his performance maybe in 2016, but this one just feels very, very safe. I think that John Lundvik's staging will probably, if they keep it exactly the same, and I know that Lithuania said it's pretty much going to be exactly the same performance, I think it's going to be a comparison, and John unfortunately wins this one for me. But you know, Lithuania, I wouldn't be upset to see them in the grand final. They are, I think the songwriters are saying, oh, this could win Eurovision. No. Just no, this is not a Eurovision winning song, not this year, not any year, I'm afraid, but I think it could do respectably for Lithuania. I don't think it's as good as Yeva, but then again, I'm not going to think anything is really as good as Yeva from last year. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing if they can elevate it a little bit more and that they don't just keep it exactly the same in Tel Aviv.
I like this idea of a love that can't be caged. You cannot put baby and his baby in a box. However, the notion of running with lions and romance, I don't really think it makes sense. Like, what is the point? Are you saying let's go to the zoo and run with some lions because we're scared we're going to be eaten and I'm holding you and I've got you with me and you're going to be safe? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, I think the lions is what they should really double down on. I think, you know, we saw fantastic projections from Lithuania last year. I think, you know, some projected lions, really double down on that kind of safari, wild jungle theme. You could do fantastic things with this, because, I mean, vocally, I think he's good. And also, I mean, the other thing to his credit is falsetto-wise, he can actually hit those falsetto notes. And we saw a lot of people this national final season who couldn't do that and had real problems with it. And it's always an issue for male performers, so it's good that he can hit that.
Well, let's just have David Attenborough sing. My God, I mean, this nature theme, I just don't see how lyrically it makes sense.
I think that, you know, they could I kind of get the lyrics. I think that it's a written for Eurovision kind of song, and I think a lot of the choices in Lithuania were very much like that. I mean, I think the problem that Juri's had is that a lot of people were like, oh, it's Monica Maria, and there was such an obsession with her songs, and I do think they were better, both of them, but I think that might have negatively impacted him. A fresh pair of eyes and people hearing this for the first time, they might be taken by him. I think that if he can connect with people watching at home, it's a real chance that this will make it through. So I think that all the issues with the song and the narrative that it's going with, I think you can kind of let that slide a little bit because of him.
All right, well, it is time to go around and give a score out of 10 along with our prediction about whether this can make it out of the second semi-final, starting with Angus.
So I will be candid. I put in my score before the revamp, so it is lower than I would score it now. I think he has a fantastic voice, like a great personality. I really like the melody of the song, but this was a 4 out of 10 for me before the revamp. However, I would add at least an extra 50% on that now, where we're scoring the new revamp. I think this is good. I think he's strong and will do well for Lithuania this year.
I'm going to take your 4 and I'm going to add 0.5. My score is a 4.5. I think the staging was beautiful in Lithuania. I think he's got a nice falsetto. At times, I didn't think the vocal was actually 100% on point, if I'm totally honest. But I think with time, he'll have improved, and our boy will be ready to slay, but not the lions, because they are endangered, and we must protect nature.
I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. I think that it's, there's nothing really ultimately wrong with it. There's not a huge amount other than Juri that makes me really want to support it, though. And I think that he could make it out of the second semi-final. I think he's got a very tough draw. I think he's got a lot of really, really strong songs around him, but I think there's a few things working in his favour, and I can see that juries might just respect this enough to give it a few points to help it along the way too.
We, of course, are not the only Wiwi bloggers around the world. There are about 5,000 million of them all over this planet, and they too have submitted scores to Ernst & Young, and we can now reveal the overall global average.
Oh.
Yeah, not good.
No, that's really low.
This is low, and to be honest, I think it's one of the lowest of the year, and ultimately it comes down to not being memorable, I think.
Yeah, potentially. And I do think, obviously, we've seen all what Lithuania had to offer. Potentially that's some of it, but I still think that that's quite low.
I mean, I don't know, for me, I think a lot of people scored this before the revamp had come in. We've had a big spree of late running revamps coming in this year. I think it would be higher if it were not for that, because I don't think the revamp I actually think elevates this significantly, which just shows the power of the R word.
And we were wrong, Lithuania got quite a low score last year, and look what happened then, so don't rule them out.
They pulled it out with the staging.
Oh, yeah.
They have upped their game in recent years visually, and I think it makes a massive difference. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Are you running with lions? What about the penguins and the chickens? Let us know here on Wiwi Vlogs.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave comments, we know your opinions, and follow us on all of our social media channels at wiwibloggs.
Which are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, something else probably too. And yeah, just make sure to let us know what you think. Are you running with the lions?
We'll see you later. Bye!